Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Boss Fight Studio Epic H.A.C.K.S Barbarian Death Monger. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging, and here at the top we have Epic H.A.C.K.S. And we'll bring that in a little bit because we haven't taken a look at these before. And H.A.C.K.S apparently stands for, as far as I can tell, Highly Articulated Character Kit System. So that's cool, I did not know that. Adult collectible for ages 12 and up, Barbarian Death Monger. So I'm assuming there's going to be some other Barbarians in this line if it continues. And here we have Boss Fight Studios. This is actually the first thing from them that I've got, and the first thing from Epic H.A.C.K.S. Nice big blister showcasing the figure and accessories, and it's on a card, of course, and the card is very, very thin. Think those first G.I. Joe Classified series retro carded releases that had very thin cards. This is about on par with that. But here we have some nice artwork of Death Monger, or Barbarian Death Monger, or I'm gonna guess that his name is Death Monger and that he is a barbarian skeleton. So, but there we have that. Then on the back here, again, we've got Barbarian Death Monger, and then here is a nice, it looks like it might be practical photography, but I could be mistaken. It may be a digital render. I am not 100% sure. And then here again, Epic H.A.C.K.S, and yes, Highly Articulated Character Kit System. So that is pretty cool. And then let's see what it says here. And I'm not going to read all of this to you guys. If you want to, you can pause it here and read these sections. And now you can pause it here. And then here we have the cross sale of the Pirate, Barbarian, which is this figure, Gladiator, and Grim Spectre. Collect them all, each sold separately. And then Boss Fight Studios, and that's who's in it. And some other small fine legalese print here, bossfightshop.com. Follow us! And then here is a QR code if you want to scan that. I'll hold it here still for a minute. You can pause it and scan it, or however you want to do that. They're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Boss Fight Studio. Download the Boss Fight Studio app. Wow, I didn't know they had an app. So here's some symbols I'm not going to learn. Boss Fight Studios, assortment numbers maybe, and a barcode. So that, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and its accessories, and as you can see, I have all the overlays removed because I really wanted us to be able to take a look at the base skeleton of this figure. So, but we'll run through everything and then we'll put it all back together. So first up, we'll look at the accessories, and he has this mace. And my goodness, look at the deco on this thing. I mean, it is decoed up. It's washed. It's got wash in here. Deco. I think the whole thing is covered in paint. So very nice, and a bit aged looking and a bit worn looking in places, but he's a skeleton. This is his battle axe, and I don't know if there's as much paint on this as there is that. It looks like maybe it's molded in this color, and then they put a wash on it, and then paint down here, and then paint up here. Or this could be a separate piece as well, but it looks like some of this paint on here is maybe a spray. But like lots of nice molded details in there, and really gives it a great look. Well, the final weapon is a sword. Now, we'll have to say that the sword is a little thin and it is a bit flimsy. The other two weapons are a bit sturdier feeling. But as far as looks goes, this one looks just as nice as the others. It may be molded in this color, and then paint app on the end, paint app for the handguard, and silver paint app for the blade. And you can see there's lots of nicks in this blade, so it's old, it's well used, not well loved perhaps. And then an interesting handguard, and then a very pointy pommel. And here is his helmet, and nice paint apps here for these horns and the fur around the horns and the base of the helmet. And it may be molded in this color, but if it is, they painted the inside gold as well. So very interesting looking piece. I like it. And in fact, I haven't found anything yet that I dislike about this guy. And then again, lots of paint apps going on here. Epic H.A.C.K.S and the paint apps, my friends. So just look at all that kind of crackly beaten bronze look that this has to it. This jewel piece, I don't really think it's a jewel, but it kind of gives that look. And you know, we've got scratches and cracks, and we've got this fur around it with all kinds of wash in it. Another very nice looking piece. Here is the chest harness, and again, just it's probably molded in this color, and then it's got a lot of wash on it to help all these scratchy details stand out. Nice silver paint app here and black around it. It looks like some gold for the hinges, some buckles back here. Well, these are the buckles, I guess, but those buckle it together too, and then a strap to store the sword in. I think it goes this way on the figure. And now let's take a look. He does actually, I was surprised to find that he had skeleton feet. I knew the top of the boots looked like a removable overlay, but I was surprised that it did have an extra set of feet, so you could turn this guy into a complete skeleton. So that was a very nice surprise. Lots of molded detail in here, straps on the shoes, a nice wash. They're all like leathery looking in the mold. And again, look at all that wash. And same thing for this. And the other two pieces as well. Just, I really like, I like this figure so far. I guess you can't tell. And of course, these feet do have ports in the bottom of them to go onto a stand like this. Epic H.A.C.K.S highly articulated character kit system. And you know, that pretty much says it. And it's a nice stand. It's the logo for this line. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 posts on it, so you can do a little bit of different posing with it maybe. 2023 Boss Fight Studios, made in China. Now let's take a look at the skeleton. And I have to say, okay, it's molded in this off-white color, which is very, you know, bone skeleton looking, because who wants a plain white, bleached out white skeleton? Nobody. That's who. Now you can see he does have a little bit of an overbite. Nice black paint it looks like for the eye sockets, because there's no eyeballs in there. And I want to say this really could have used a wash. It does have some paint rub on it here from the harness, it looks like. But very, very nice sculpt. Yes, it's pinned. But, you know, I think it works in this case. It really works. That gives them an excuse to put this kneecap patella as a separate piece. So that's cool. Now let's take a look at his articulation. And wow, there's a lot of detail going on here in this, and it's very skeletal looking. It's a skeleton for sure. So at the head, he looks up that far. He can look down that far. No chicken neck. He's got some slight waggle. He can do the full exorcist. He does have a fully articulated jaw. It opens and it closes. And I wonder if maybe we can reset that. No. So he's just stuck with his overbite. I got a Ghost Rider who's got an overbite like that too. So at the shoulders, he can raise his arm up approximately 90 degrees, and you can see it's on a post and a hinge. He can rotate it around 360 degrees because of the collarbone here. Has to swing out a little bit at the arm. So nothing in the bicep, and that's understandable. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow. Makes sense for this type of figure, and it gives you approximately a 90-degree bend there, I would say. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist, and it is set to up and down, but it's a ball system here, so you can rotate it so it's in and out. And this one is set to up and down as well. Let's see, I want to say, yeah, right here on the backbone, where the backbone and the rib cage meets, there is a joint there, and it gives you 360 degrees worth of rotation. It's on a, I want to say it's on a ball, but it might not be, but it feels like it gives you a little bit of hula, but not a whole lot going on there. The base of the spine, where it meets the butt bone or the coccyx, that is on a ball joint, I do believe, and it will give you a little forward and back and a little side to side. It will also give you full 360 degrees worth of rotation, so that's nice. Now at the hips here, there's a ball joint coming out of the hip and then a ball joint going in to that, so it's double hinged there, so that's nice. And it kind of gives you, you know, it does give you a pull down joint there, so that's cool. And at the hips, he can give you the full splits. Yep, I thought maybe he'd give you a little plus, but no. And then 360 degrees of rotation there as well, and you know, it can actually go in like that also, so very wide range of motion for this guy. And then because this is on a ball, the peg goes down into the leg, so it does have some rotation right there at the top of the hip. And I'm sure if you rotate it correctly, you can get a full 360 degrees worth out of it. Double hinged pinned knee. And you know, like I said before, I don't really mind that. I think it works here because it gives an excuse for this piece to be in there. But I guess they could have done that pinless as well. But you know, the pins kind of blend in color wise. They don't really stand out that much. So very nice range of movement there at the knee. At the ankle, tilts down that far, and again, it's on those ball joints, so they can be rotated. Tilts up that far, and it does have rocker as well. So that is really, really cool, my friends. Very highly articulated skeleton. So if you don't want to spring for those Mythic Legion skeletons, these are a little bit cheaper. And again, you can, you know, strip them down to the bone, so to speak. And then as far as the overlays go, give me just a minute. I'll be right back with all those on. And here we are back with him all dressed, I guess. Dressed for success. And I'm not 100% sure I'll put this all back on there accurately, or I think it's at least appropriately. So mostly in the right places, I suppose. So that's the way the boots are supposed to look, I think. And then the mid layer, the woolly underwear, goes around the hips, and then of course, you know, across the shoulders and around the ribs for the harness. And as far as storage goes, he can only store the sword, and it does store in this hoop here on his back. And it's a rather large sword for him, I would say, as well. The helmet, just put it on his head, and due to friction it does stay there, so that kind of gives him a quite mean look. And then of course the other two weapons, well, I say he holds them in his hand, but those grips there are kind of tricky a little bit, at least for my old butt. So you may have to work at it just a little bit. To get stuff like you want it. And then of course there's the stand. Posts go into the ports on the bottom of the feet. And there you have it, my friends. There's a look at the figure and his accessories. His bony butt. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Boss Fight Studio Epic H.A.C.K.S Barbarian Death Monger with the Four Horsemen Mythic Legions Deluxe Skeleton Legion Builder and the Storm Collectibles Golden Axe Dead Frame. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Boss Fight Studio Epic H.A.C.K.S Barbarian Death Monger, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Boss Fight Studio Epic H.A.C.K.S Barbarian Death Monger. Wow, what a name. I have to say, this was a really surprising piece to me. The fact that you can remove all the overlays, and the fact that it came with pure skeleton feet as well as these booted feet was a big surprise to me, that you could actually take this guy actually down to the bone and make him a skeleton. And I really like the fact that you can do that. I like the sculpt of this skeleton. I mean, I like the overlays and the weapons and you know, the weapons especially look good, especially that mace. It really looks great. And you know, the overlays and the helmet, they all look really good too. But you know, the base of this figure is the star. The skeleton is appropriately sized. I think. Your mileage, of course, may vary. But to me, I think it's appropriately sized. I think it's appropriately sculpted. I think the bones are the correct size. And this guy certainly is better quality, in my opinion. Again, your mileage may vary. Than Storm Collectibles, Golden Axe, skeleton dudes with the bird heads. I can't think of their names right now. That I reviewed, and you know, they broke pretty much right out of the package. Even with heat, they broke. The pegs were stuck and really thin. And you know, this guy has pretty thin pegs on the ball joints too, but they're constructed differently, I think. And definitely different materials, and part of it may be because on the actual skeleton there seems to be no paint. So, you know, less stuff to get stuck during those long, hot container boat rides from China. But I was really impressed with this skeleton, and even with the overlays and stuff. I love the way it looks. And you know, even the fact you can customize it some. You can do it, you know, full gear just like this, or take some of the weapons away, or take the helmet away, or change up some of the overlays, or give him one skeleton foot that doesn't have a boot on it, or you know, there are lots of options for this figure, and I like that. I do like the customizability of it, and even the just the base skeleton of it is really good. And I hope one day they sell just a pack of base skeletons. That would be cool too. And I'm gonna love to compare this to the graveyard skeletons from the Four Horsemen Mythic Legions line when those come in next year, and that's 2025. Just in case somebody's watching this, you know, at a time other than when I dropped it, a year other than when I dropped it. So it's 2024 now, and as I'm recording this, and those graveyard skeletons will be out in 2025. So I'm gonna love to do that. And I know that the Mythic Legions, the bones on those skeletons are going to be much bulkier than these. And I understand why. It makes them much more sturdy. But I don't know. This one is really, the bones on this one are really visually appealing. As far as, you know, if you like skeletons, this is a pretty darn good skeleton. You could paint a couple of these, you know, char them up a little bit, and you've got you Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru after the Stormtrooper visit to the Lars Moisture Farm. And, you know, that, I'm sure somebody out there's already done that. But this is a great, great figure. I do want to pick up some more of these guys. Not necessarily the Barbarian, but some of the other, and see if they have that same level of, you know, stripping it down just to the skeleton. Getting all the meat off of it, I suppose you could say. But, really, I enjoy this figure. It's fun to mess with and swap stuff out on, and you know, I'm gonna throw him up on my Mythic Legion's shelf, at least for the time being. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting this channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.